Is anybody even paying attention to me? Okay. I am the scout here. And brother? Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach introduced a car actor named Gregory. This young fun kid fresh fella is a playable car actor for the duration of the game. There are a lot of questions concerning the nature of Gregory, though. And today, we're gonna be tackling a man looking into a popular theory about him called Gregbot. See, what a lot of people speculate is that Gregory is actually himself an animatronic. And there are a lot of pieces of evidence to support this. To start things off, let's take a look at Gregory and the only other main character in the game, Vance. As you can see, Vance has very realistic human-like hair, which even includes individual strands in some spots. In contrast, the boy Gregory over here, his hair that looks like it's made entirely out of plastic. All of the individual tufts seem to be connected to each other, and the hair is even reflective as if it's made of a synthetic material. Next up, we gotta talk about how Gregory behaves. See, the little man has this weird corruption effect that happens to his vision whenever Vanny is nearby. The effect is very similar to camera feed malfunctioning. Some people have said that this could be the result of Vanny holding an illusion disc. Deviates from the books that change how something is perceived. However, this seems unlikely. See, the only time something similar to illusion disc has been seen in the games was in Sister Location, where from time Freddy has a device that is similar to one. Furthermore, illusion disc is to completely change the perception of something. If Vanny was holding one, it wouldn't make sense for its only effect to be a slight visual noise overlay. Anyway, more importantly, this effect happens even while Gregory is inside of Freddy. It's seen the first time Vanny appears in a game. Since this effect happens through Freddy's eyes as well, it pretty much confirms that the effect isn't caused by an illusion disc. Now, let me just say for the sake of freaking argument, that the hair being cheap was just a 7 resource, and the weed vision was just made as a game detail. What else is there to go on? Well, let's talk about what happens when Gregory dies. In past FNAF games, except 4 and 6, when the player dies, the screen cuts to static. However, 1, 2, 3, and 5 will see the player as a security guard or technician who his camera and handheld electronics where static screen fits the aesthetic. I might be getting ahead of myself here, but I think Gregory's vision going to static helps my case that it might actually be an animatronic. Anyway, this is kind of loose as part of this theory, so let's look at some other stuff here. First off, there's a tie-in book series called Tales from the Pizzaplex that is releasing later this year. The first book, called Lolly's Game, prominently features an animatronic in the shape of a chill. This animatronic happens to be about the same size as Gregory's in the game. Furthermore, the Five Nights at Freddy's series is known to have dabbled in animatronics that think they're children in the past. The Five Nights at Freddy's novel trilogy depicts an animatronic that thinks its header's late death to Charlie. Anyway, let's get back to the point here. Basically, what I'm saying is that Gregory is the same size as this animatronic on the cover, has eyes that work like cameras, and seems to break down when he gets jump scared. So now I know you're probably saying, Scout, you freaking dummy. That doesn't prove nothing. Well, first off, how dare you? Second off, we've got to look into the dialogue in the game. To start things off, we have some cut lines from Freddy that would have been used at the start of the game. When Freddy brings Gregory to the first stand in the final game, it tells him that it feels he is broken. However, the line originally said that it feels that Gregory is bleeding. For a game that has a burnt corpse in them of shit murder, I would be pretty freaking shocked if they changed this line for the rate. So why would they make Freddy say that Gregory is broken instead of that he's bleeding? Well, the answer is because robots don't bleed, dummy. Next up, and I'll be honest with you, I've been glossing over this one until now. We got us why and how Gregory's in the Pizzaplex to begin with. You're telling me that a kid who just happens to be wearing a Freddy Fazbear shirt somehow managed to sneak his way into the Pizzaplex during peak customer hours without an entry ticket or adult supervision and just so happened to find himself in a potion where he was able to sneak up and get inside of Freddy on the front stage while no one was looking? Yeah, good luck selling that story, buddy. Now, if Gregory was an animatronic on the other hand, it would make sense how he'd be able to find himself in a position where he'd be able to get into Freddy. Furthermore, it would explain why he was somehow able to get into the Pizzaplex in the first place he did. It was already there. Now I'm sure you're thinking to yourself right now, Scout, just why would the Pizzaplex have an animatronic to seem to look like a home and chill? Well, buddy, that's a question that Tales from the Pizzaplex book is gonna have to answer for you. So, to summarize, Gregory has hair that looks plastic compared to Vance and has eyes that malfunction like cameras whenever Vanny's around. Crashing like a computer whenever he gets jump scared. Specifically does not bleed even though an older cut voice line would have said he did and was somehow in a potion where he was able to sneak inside of Freddy even though people should have been watching. Conclusion, the kid's a freaking robot, that's what? Now! He's inhibited by the Spyrin of Event, the crying chill from FNAF 1. No, that's freaking stupid, what would it be? But either way, another security breaks talking books come out and answer all questions for us. That's the evidence towards the Gregbot theory for Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach.